So good morning and welcome everyone. And I want to give a special welcome to our young students here because this is what this is all about. So good morning to you. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the opening of Dr. R. Drew Elementary School as a full neighborhood school. I am Cynthia Johnson, Interim Superintendent for Arlington Public Schools, and it's truly special to be here. It truly is. We're surrounded by people who live in this community, and we're surrounded by distinguished guests who have contributed so much to the success of this school. I have been a part of many openings and dedications over the year, and each event has allowed me to watch how the Arlington community and APS staff come together during periods of transition with a shared commitment to providing an outstanding, high-quality education for all our students. Today, we officially celebrate Drew as a full neighborhood school, drawing students only from homes around the school. This is an exciting milestone for this school, and I want to extend my warm welcome to our leadership team, school board members, families, county partners, and community members who are here today to honor the contributions of Dr. Charles R. Drew. We have many acknowledgments and remarks prepared throughout today's program, but first, I want to extend a special thank you to Principal Kim Grave and Assistant Principal Tracy Gaither. Beyond the leadership, there's an incredible staff. Along with that, the facility and the custodial team who work throughout the summer to get this newly refreshed space ready to welcome new and returning Drew students. Boys and girls, do you like your new space? Yes. Every transition is significant, and we see how hard work has been accomplished for the benefit of our students. So thank you to all for this commitment. APS has a long-term commitment to provide multiple pathways to success for all of our students as part of the 2018-24 strategic plan. The evolution of Drew Model School into a neighborhood elementary school with a STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math focus this year is one example of that vision coming to fruition. The school has a long-standing history with this name and location. Dr. Charles R. Drew was a great physician, teacher, and pioneer from this very neighborhood. Dr. Drew lived by these words: dream high enough and work hard enough, and we'll all get where we want to go. And that is an outstanding model for our young people of what is valued and possible in our educational community. So today, we bridge past and present as we fully embrace the words of Dr. Charles R. Drew to dream big and work hard for our current students and future generation. The future has never looked brighter. I now have the honor of introducing Dr. Charles R. Drew's principal, Kim Grave, to make a few remarks and introduce our speakers today.
Well, good morning. Good morning. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kimberly Graves, and I'm the very proud principal of Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. Some individuals may ask why I always preface my introduction by saying that I'm proud to be here, because I truly am. I am humbled by the legacy of this community that I am now charged with the responsibility to lead, but I'm also powered by the sheer opportunities that we have as a school community to shine brightly for everyone to see. This day is a day that we all should remember, because this day will be the day that we proudly stand in South Arlington as a new neighborhood school. One of the beautiful things, when we talk about Dr. Charles Richard Drew and the legacy that he brings, is he stood during a time when there wasn't many opportunities for individuals that looked like him to make the contributions that he was able to make. And in that same vein, when we look at the community that we serve, we have the opportunity to make a difference for each and every child that comes across our doorway. And that is a tremendous responsibility, a tremendous honor, and I'm humbled each and every day about that. When I look out in this audience, it's a beautiful Saturday, and you all gave your time today to be here, and we so greatly appreciate that. I'd like to recognize our staff members who are here, who service your children each and every day. Let's please give them a round of applause. We have countless members who are here from our executive leadership team who could be doing many other things, but spending their beautiful Saturday here. And I think that that just really shows the commitment, the support, and the sheer joy that many of us have for what this school is going to be and become. And so this morning, we have a number of speakers that are going to share some thoughts about our Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. And I'd like to, gives me tremendous honor to welcome our school board chair, Mrs. Tanya Talento, to share a few remarks. Welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here today. I am truly honored to be before you today to celebrate the dedication and open house of the new neighborhood school, Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary. I don't think that we can say that enough. I don't think that we can say it enough, our new neighborhood school. Because Arlington has a very deep history. And Drew Elementary, now Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary, has been part of that history. It has been part of a time when our nation was divided and unjust. It's been part of a time when our nation grew and tried to provide justice, at times unsuccessfully. It has divided our community, and it is now bringing our community back together. And that is something that is so humbling and amazing to be part of in this county. When I look at my own background, being a child of immigrant parents, having grown up in predominantly minority communities, and knowing that I am here in such a momentous and historic occasion where we get to bring Drew Elementary, Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary, back to its community, truly is something that I will take with me for the rest of my life. When I am on my deathbed and I think about the things that I did and I accomplished and I had the privilege to be a part of, this will be one of those times. Because we are now serving Arlington as a neighborhood school, unifying our community, and making sure that this building and this small piece of our institution provides great, amazing things to each student in its neighborhood who walks through those doors. Yeah. So there's so many more people who want to share amazing things about today. I'm not going to take up more time, but I did want to welcome you and thank you all for being here. Thank my fellow school board members, Ms. Monique O'Grady, Vice Chair, who is here, Mr. Reed Goldstein, former chair, who is here. Dr. Cannon and Ms. Van Doren send their regrets, but they are here in their hearts, celebrating this momentum occasion. And to welcome you and thank you again for being here today under the beautiful blue skies, no cloud there, because there is no cloud around this moment. It is only brightness and greatness. So thank you all for being here. Congratulations to the new neighborhood school. And I think we have a presentation coming forth. So I'm going to allow Principal Graves to come introduce it. And thank you for letting me share some remarks. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. So as much as we love hearing from our individuals from our school board and also from myself, really what we really want to hear from is the voices of our beautiful students. I am pleased and honored to introduce Dr. Jessie Williams, who is our director of our chorus. And our students are here to perform for you our school song. And this is a song that was written by Dr. Williams, and we are so pleased that we have the opportunity to have its inaugural presentation here this morning for our school opening. Dr. Williams, take it away. Let's give those boys and girls another round of applause, please. Dr. Williams, chorus, that was beautiful. And I can't wait for us to, even every student, to be able to sing that song. I promise I won't make you sing it on demand, though. So next up, it gives me great honor to hear from many different voices of the Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. We have been very fortunate that we have a legacy of individuals that have been a part of this community, either through their association, through the Civic Association, living and growing up in this community, and also students who attended the school and who now have children who attend school here. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the renowned Dr. Alfred Taylor, who will be sharing a few remarks with us this morning.
First, I'd like to say good morning. Being a student of the Sankofa bird, a bird who flies forward while looking backwards, that's the vein I come to you this morning, that we look backwards to find out where we are coming from in order to measure where we are going. So in order to celebrate this day today, we would first of all have to start off with the early forerunners to the Charles R. Drew Elementary School. And we would have to go back to our churches. In tracing the legacy of the Charles R. Drew Elementary School, we would have to start in 1875 at the Lomax Chapel. History said certain colored resident men wanted another school to be open in order to be beneficial to those living in the southern part of the district. Remember, at this time, Arlington was not a county. It was part of Alexandria County and divided off into districts. They rented a space in Lomax Chapel for $25 a year. So if we had to pay, Drew started off as a private school, not with public monies, but with everyone's money. They started off by paying $25 a year. By 1883, it was being referred to as Kemper School, after James L. Kemper, who was then the governor of Virginia, who was an advocate for African-American education. In March of 1883, 3/4 of an acre was purchased from John D. North for $62.50 to construct a frame, one-story, 24 by 36 building, which was accepted in 1883. A few years later, Kemper moved to Peyton's Hall at 22nd and Kenmore Street, where Macedonia Baptist Church occupied the second floor and Kemper the first. The next year, the board, and that's the Alexandria County Board, decided to build a new two-story structure for Kemper at the cost of $1,500, and that was located on South Lincoln Street. Only the two lower rooms were used until 1903, when the upper story was open for classroom. In 1913, Kemper added an 8th grade. So remember, 1913, there was no junior high schools. So Kemper, or African Americans, could only have school up to the 8th grade. And that was here at Kemper School. The school had, in 1944, the Kemper Annex was erected on this site. The school had 6 classrooms and 2 playrooms, one for girls and one for boys. The Kemper Annex moved to the old Dolly Madison Junior High School when a larger addition was built, and in 1951, the entire facility was named in honor of Dr. Charles Drew. The legacy of Drew, which started when the residents came out of their pockets to fund the school to promote educational opportunities for residents that allowed them to persevere and accomplish despite Jim Crow laws, lack of financial backing, fighting for freedom, having to become economically independent, and remembering from whence they came, should be an inspiration to all to celebrate and continuing sharing Drew's future and its students' accomplishments. And to further its accomplishments, for those who don't know, I have a book that was written in 1984 that has some over 100 stories. 95% of those people were affiliated in some way with the Drew Elementary or Kemper Elementary School. So those who want to find out what this school has done over the years, you can pick this up later and read of some of the contributions the students who graduated from Kemper Drew have contributed. And thank you this morning. You'll hear later from someone, but thank you for tracing this legacy of Drew to its present time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for those wonderful remarks. I think many of us don't know fully the legacy and the history of the community it serves, and I appreciate the opportunity to have you share this with our community today. You're a tough act to follow, and so I'd like to welcome up one of our parents and former students of Drew, Miss Alicia Palmer. She is currently an executive member of our PTA, and her two lovely daughters are students here at Drew, Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. So Mrs. Palmer, please come on up.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Great.
That's a tough act to follow. I don't know how to start or where to start.
You guys gotta say good morning. Good morning. That's what I like.
But I would like to start by saying that I started here at Drew when I was a kid. A long time ago, my aunt used to live over there, and the front of Drew was there. Not here. We've come a long way. My daughter here, she's now in the 5th grade. We started here in 2012. This is her last year here, and she is in the 3rd grade. And I must say, our staff this year is amazing. Not to say that before our staff wasn't great, but this year we have amazing staff. The communication that I've gotten back from them this year so far, being in school 3 weeks, is amazing. Anything that happens here at Drew, the staff is the first to call you. You see 228 on your phone, you better answer because you want to know what's going on. This daughter here, she's getting ready to leave. Last year, we found out that they were rezoning. And I tell you, when we found out that they were rezoning, I was scared that we were going to be zoned out and I was going to cry because we love Drew and I want them to finish here at Drew and they can choose whatever school they would like to go to after that. But we must finish elementary here at Drew. And if you haven't been here in the mornings, just come by just for a minute just to see what our welcoming committee is because it is the best. They have the welcoming committee out here. They have Miss Tanita and their patrols out here. They do wonderful with opening the doors for people. The teachers and Ms. Graves and Gaithers that stand in the front door to let the kids in. We love it here, and we thank y'all for joining us this morning. Thank you. And I would like to introduce Ms. Portia Clark with the Green Valley Civic Association.
Good morning, all. It is really an honor and a pleasure to stand before you today and welcome you to the Charles R. Drew Elementary School, back to the Green Valley community as our very own neighborhood school. For some of you, you cannot begin to understand the significance of this, but let me help you understand by sharing my history. In 1961, the county proposed an expansion to Drew to add 22 classrooms, a new wing to the school. The community was opposed to this and instead preferred that Drew become an integrated school, not a separate school that was supposed to be equal. In 1964, I entered Drew Elementary School for kindergarten in the old wing at Drew, which used to sit atop what is now Mount Drew over here where they buried the school. I couldn't wait to enter Miss B. Richardson's class in a school that was desegregated. In 1968, I sat in the new wing of Drew that stood about right here in Miss Hazeline Harris's class, where we all cried when we got the news that Dr. Martin Luther King had been assassinated. By 1970, I started my activism by protesting and skipping Mr. Hardy Williams' class in the 6th grade so we could go down to the monument where we helped to establish his birthday as a holiday. Drew remained a separate school until 1971, when it was closed for desegregation purposes. My firstborn attended the Drew Montessori School in 1980. In 1980, when Stevie Wonder released the Happy Birthday song as a tribute to Dr. King. In 1983, his birthday became a national holiday 15 years later. My daughter was denied entrance to Drew Model at 1st grade and was selected to attend Claremont. Claremont closed the next year and she had to go to Barcroft. Back then, because of integration policies, she was scheduled to go to North Arlington School after 3rd grade, with most of our neighborhood children who had to attend Jamestown, Tuckahoe, or Nottingham, when not selected by the lottery at Drew. Me and some other parents petitioned the board that year to not relocate those children to their 4th elementary school. My second child entered Drew Model for kindergarten in 1989. She finished elementary school at Page. Then the community went back to the board when boundaries were changed again in 1994. This ended a 20-year era of busing black youngsters from this Green Valley neighborhood to North Arlington schools. Then Drew was known as a traditional school and a model program. The community finally realized that the elephant in the room was 2 programs in one building that was supposed to be integrated but were separate and by no means equal. In 2001, the new Drew Elementary School and Community Center were built, and the latest boundary changes was the first time our neighborhood children were not bused for integration purposes. Our organization, the Green Valley Civic Association, has witnessed what happened when 2 very distinct programs in one building have a long failed history with a single principal attempting to lead disparate programs with little or no training in one of the programs. In 2016, APS decided to create separate schools from our 2 programs here at Drew, and we as a community stood up and said, let Montessori go. They needed their own building, and this was their time. We needed a new Drew Neighborhood Elementary School for the changing Green Valley community. Today, in 2019, the community is very pleased to be at the new Charles R. Drew Elementary School with expanded boundaries and a very diverse school that is integrated and not segregated. On September the 3rd, 2019, I had 3 grandchildren to enter the Charles R. Drew Elementary School for VPI, kindergarten, and 5th grade. A school that is rich in history and one that will be the best. My hope for them is that they will soar with opportunities that many of our neighborhood children have not had. As a community, we look forward to working with the school administrators, teachers, staff, and students. The Green Valley Civic Association is eager for opportunities of engagement. We want Ms. Kimberly Graves to call on us and to work with staff to educate our youth and get our parents engaged. On behalf of the Green Valley Civic Association, we are pleased to be here today to dedicate this school as our very own neighborhood school, the Charles R. Drew Elementary School, with a focus on STEAM. We hope that following this ceremony, you will hang around for our first day, neighborhood day as Green Valley. We'll be here from 12 to 6 today, and it is really a pleasure that we no longer have 5 or 6 names because Drew has been R. Drew today, Drew, Drew Elementary School, Drew Model, Drew Traditional, Drew School, and now we welcome the Charles R. Drew Elementary School. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark, for that very passionate speech regarding our school community. I'd like to also take this opportunity, when I look out in the audience, while we can speak about some of the turbulence and some of the changes and the dynamics that took place before I became here and also what led us to this place, there are many families here who were part of our Montessori community who considered Drew their school just as much as anyone else's. So I'd like to also thank you all for being here today, because not only is it our legacy, it's also your legacy and your path that's made this school a part of what it is and where it's going to become. So thank you all for being here, and we are all going to work together to bring this school to the level that we know it should be. So now let's get to the ribbon cutting. So without further ado, I'd like to invite members of our school board, our superintendent, Mrs. Cynthia Johnson, to come on up, and we are going to cut this ribbon and officially dedicate Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. So please come on up. Oh, yes, I am so sorry. How could I forget the most important people here? Our students. So students over here that are, come on over. Jaden, come on over, guys. Chase. Kirabelle, come on. Avion, let's go.
Every adult takes a student. Can you come with me? Right? The two of you come with me. Are we cutting? You get to go. Come on. You guys, I got it. Here, you guys stand in front. Stand by the ribbon. We'll give you scissors. Stand by the ribbon. We'll give you scissors. Stand by the ribbon, guys. Scoot down.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So members of the community, you are welcome to the school. We'll provide an opportunity for you to take a tour of the building, and there are light refreshments available for you as well. Again, thank you for being here this morning, and please feel free to stay to participate in our Green Valley Day. It is going to be fun. Thank you all.